Welcome back. We are on customer units of weight and we're continuing the story problem number 12 and number 13. Hopefully you left your crayons out. Remember I broke my crayon in the last video. That was fun. Let's see if we can solve it. Oh, I love this name. Mel is measuring 132 ounces of rice into 1 pound containers. I want you to think about this for a minute. Sounds like a lot, but remember ounces are pretty small. And she's putting them into 1 pound containers. Okay. How many 1 pound containers will she need to hold all of the rice? Okay, I'm going to use my orange. So she started with ounces, but they're trying to put them into 1 pound containers. So how many 1 pound containers will she need to hold all of the rice? That's the first question. Then it says, how many more ounces of rice will she need to buy if she needs a total of 10 pounds of rice? Let's not even worry about that part yet. Let's just solve the first question, okay? These are always going to be multi-step problems in this unit, so don't panic about them. You just need to go slowly and answer one question at a time. Let's say the first question is yellow, okay? Ooh, that gets a lot of shaking from the camera. So how many 1 pound containers will she need to hold all of the rice? Let's first just find out how many pounds that is in general. So we're going to, step number 1, we're going to convert. We are going to convert 132 ounces into pounds. I just want to know how many pounds that would be, because then we will know how many containers she'll fill. That's easy because they're all 1 pound container. So ounces to pounds, that's something small going into something larger. So small to large, Stella likes donuts. I divide. What am I dividing by? The connecting number, ounces and pounds, you should know, is 16. So I go 132. My step number 2 is to keep going. 132 divided by 16. 16 can't go into 13, so now we're just going to be taking some guesses. If you remember back from the previous page, 16 times 5 was 80, so it has to be more than 80. Maybe it will be something like 7. Should we try 16 times 7? Let's see what we get. 16 times 7, that's 42. 7 plus 4 is 11. Well, it will go in there, but could there be more? I definitely think so. Do you think there could be 32 more? Like, should I go in twice more? No, that would be too high. So I'm just going to go in once more. 16 times 8. 16 times 8 is 48. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 is 12. So I have 128. All right, so it goes in 8 times. 128, so I find what my remainder will be. And it's 4. So what that's saying is I can make 8 pounds and then 4/16. Does that make sense? So I could say 4/16, but I would probably need to simplify 4/16. So I'm going to come right here. I'm going to simplify. To simplify a fraction, you are going to divide by the greatest common factor, and it is 4. So I would get 1 on top, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So I have 8 1/4 pounds. That is not the answer to the problem. That's just my answer to my conversion right here. So 132 ounces is 8 1/4 pounds. Okay. So it says, the first part of the question is, how many 1 pound containers will she need to hold all of the rice? So she can't leave out this fraction. So she's going to need 9 1 pound containers. That's the first part of the question. So step number 2 is to answer the first question. Okay, let's answer the first question. I'm just going to come down here where my answers will probably be. Mel will need 9 containers to hold all of the rice. there will be extra space, right, in that other one, but she can't leave the fraction out. So it says Mel will need 9 containers to hold all of the rice. All right, let's go back and find out what else they are asking. The next part says, how many more? That means there's some subtraction involved later. How many more ounces of rice? So ounces. Now they're looking for ounces. That's interesting. Before we used orange for ounces, so let's do that again. They're looking for it in ounces now. How many more ounces of rice will she need to buy if she needs a total of 10 pounds of rice? Well, that's not too hard. So step 3 is to do the subtraction, to go, well, she had 8 1/4 pounds and you're wanting her to have 10 pounds. So step number 3 is to subtract. 10 minus 8 and 1/4. You can just write it in a line and hopefully do this in your head by now. You can't just go 10 minus 8 is 2 and then there's a 4th. Right? You have to kind of work backwards. So if I'm taking away a 4th from 10, then I'm going to have 3/4 left. It would be like I was borrowing. So the answer is going to be 1 3/4. Let me explain how I did that in my head. You can stack it up if you want to and borrow, but otherwise you can go, well, how do I get to the next whole? I would need 3/4, and that would get me to 9, and then I would need 1 whole, and that would get me to 10. So she needs 1 3/4 pounds more, okay, to get to that total. But they want it in ounces. Oh, of course they do. Of course they do. So don't panic. Step number 4 is to convert back. We're working backwards now. You're going to convert back. 1 3/4 pounds is how many ounces? That's all you have to do, is just convert it back. Don't panic. You can do this. We've done this before. This is part of my answer, so I am going to have to kind of squeeze my work. I probably am going to start doing my work over here on the left where I have space, just so you know. So, pound to ounce. I know how to convert. Going from something big or something larger. Well, I have pounds and ounces, so it's larger. That's larger. That's smaller. So, is it Stella likes donuts? No, it's going the opposite way, large to small. So it is multiply. The connecting number between pound and ounce is 16. So that's not hard because I could do the distributive property, right? I could do 16 times 1 is just 16. And then I do 16 times 3/4. So I think that would be helpful to do over here. Will you take your yellow and circle number 4 and show that we're doing yellow's work over here on this side. Okay, I'm going to turn my journal. I'm doing 16 times 1 3/4. 16 times 1 3/4. And I'm going to distribute. I'll do 16 times 1, and then I'll do 16 times the fraction. Easily. 16 times 1 is 16. Okay, I took care of that one easily. But now I need to do 16 times 3/4. So I just write it out like this. 16 times 3/4. You can use an X or a dot, doesn't matter. Remember, if you have a whole number timesing by a fraction, you throw a 1 under, you extend. Ooh, the slope on this one is a weird slope. That's okay. You're looking for relationships because I don't want to be doing division at the end. I see one, 16 and 4. So you simplify first. You divide both of those by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now I multiply straight across on this little slope. 4 times 3 is 12, and 1 times 1 is 1. I don't have to put 12 over 1. It's just 12. So I had 16 from this part, and I have 12 from that part. So you combine those. 12 plus 16 is 28. That, my friends, I'm going to go in yellow, is the answer here. So if I have 1 3/4 pounds, it is like having 28 ounces. So I now can answer the second part of the story problem. How many more ounces of rice will she need to buy if she wants that total? So she will need to buy, I'm just adding on to my answer, she will need to buy 28 ounces more. we'll just say she will need to buy 28 ounces more of rice. End. Whew, that was a whole lot of work. You know what we're going to do for number 13? We're going to cross it out. I'm not going to make you watch yet another video to solve that story problem. If you would like to solve this problem to earn some stamps, you can, but you would have to solve it and have the correct answer, and you'd have to either take a picture of it or show me your journal to get those stamps. But we don't have time right now, and I'm okay with the work we've done. What I will do, though, here is I want to put this in a, let's go with purple on this one, about Mel. I'm sure glad we solved the story problem about Mel. So, this was a hard problem. Hopefully you worked through it with me and we handled it just fine. Congrats! We are done with the math journal for 8.12. Let's write that by this continued part. 8.12. Today, you just get to work on the Think Central assignment that goes with this. And you can save the homework and remembering for tomorrow. But make sure you read the instructions and just make sure it doesn't get changed or updated from Miss Fisher. Great job hanging in there. Hopefully you learned about the connection number between ounces and pounds and tons. Talk to you later.